Here. What's up, guys? Happy Monday, September 19th. A couple minutes behind schedule. We had Spectrum. Spectrum was a key. Camera good? I didn't even check any of this. It'll be alright. It'll be alright. Anyway, we got some baseball tonight. We got a couple of football games. So we got a little bit of work to do. But we should be good. Make sure my screens are all set up. Hope you guys had a good weekend of not only baseball but football as well. Football was actually really good yesterday. I don't know. So I don't know what happened that I was so different than the field, but I liked the Dolphins stack, the Ravens stack. I thought I know there's this Bengals defense talk. And on DraftKings, they were so cheap. But defense is like the most variable position in football that I never overthink it. I never get too invested. Yesterday, when they said one, Alvin Kamara was out, two, Jameis Winston has 4 fractures in his back, and I'm like, it's healthy. Jameis Winston is somebody that throws a lot of turnovers. I was like, oh, I think I want a whole lot of Buccaneers defense, right? And yeah, it worked out well for me. We finished 8th in one of these tournaments on Fanduel. Bucks defense had the Tua, Waddle, Hill double stack, ran it back with Mark Andrews, and then we also had Hendo, A-Rob, Barkley, and then Drake London. Man, Drake London had a chance, and this was the run back to the 2 Rams in that lineup. Had a chance to really make us be great, but they ended up throwing a pick on that final drive. But that was fun, and we had like 4 or 5 lineups in the top 100. But Bucks defense, 4% owned against Brokeback Winston, just didn't make sense to me. But hey, what are you gonna do? I hope you guys did really, really well on NFL as well. Hopefully we run it back tonight. But tonight's gonna be a little gauntlet-esque for DFS. We have an early baseball lock, which is very convenient finally for once. At 6:40, 5:40 my time, and then we got 2 football games that stagger like 45 to an hour apart. So it'll be fun to be able to focus on a core of lineups for each start time, I guess. So I plan on running the gauntlet. I'm gonna be putting Fantasy Cruncher to work tonight. But we'll have some fun with it, man. I hope you guys are doing all right. Shout out to Steve. Shout out to everybody else lurking. Let's pull up some baseball. We also need to pull up weather report, and we'll try and do this as fast as possible today, because I know there's a ton of content to be consumed out there, and I have a ton of work to do for the Vipers at RunDFS.com. If you want to be one of them, go to RunDFS.com, grab yourself a week pass, $20 to get you in there. And I'll cover tonight, every day this week of baseball, and then, of course, week 3 of NFL. So, pulling up Mr. Ross weather report on the main screen, and then we'll get into adding games to the spreadsheet. Yep. Twins at the Guardians. Heavy morning rain is cleared by game time. Cool. Tigers at the Orioles. A drop or 2 of rain. Nothing more. Lit. D-backs at the Dodgers. Winds blowing out at 10 miles an hour. So all really, really good stuff. Let me open up Fangraphs too, by the way. And then we'll get a couple other screens open, MLB, and then we should be good. Let me put Fangraphs next to the spreadsheet. So shout out to Kevin Roth for the weather every day. We'll put a link to that in the chat. But good to know we don't have to notate anything specifically or be worried about anything. So spreadsheet open. Let's start punching some games in here. Let's start making a player pool for tonight. 6:40 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna do Astros at the Rays. Confirmed lineup is out. Jeremy Pena batting second. Yordan Alvarez, Mr. 3 homers. He's done that twice. Kyle Tucker, Yuli Gurriel, Trey Mancini, Christian Vasquez, and Chaz McCormick. And then we spelled Vasquez with the number in there. They don't put numbers in names. It's a new thing. And then Rays. And we'll have to double check Garcia's stats because reasons. I like that a lot of these lineups are already out and confirmed. So the minimization of head on a swivel as we start crunching the multi-locks. It's going to be really convenient. Drew Rasmussen. All right, start making these pools. Luis Garcia. Wrong one. This one, yep. All right, y'all. All right, let's run his splits. So 130 or 140 inning sample size. Is that what we're working with? No, it's not. Fudge. There's a couple of players. Couple of players that ruin our V lookups here. So I think there's a reliever. For the Padres, and I want to say like the Cardinals as well. We got to make sure that only the Houston version is getting pulled. Actually, we can keep that one. I think we might have got them all. Maybe not. Would be nice to have a double Control F here. I can keep the Washington, but I gotta get rid of the San Diego or teamless one. So meticulous. But it has to be done. And we just did a fresh import of stats like right before I went live. That's why I didn't already have this done. Because we had to have Spectrum come back out today. And once again replace the hardware. Because it wasn't pulling 1 gig. It was only pulling like 600. And I still don't even know if it's working, so I might just have them fix it. There we go, 146. All right, now we got the right numbers for Garcia. Garcia has a 13% swing and strike rate. The Rays are, this version of the Rays, pretty scrappy when it comes to strikeouts. Only Randy Arozarena, Bethancourt, and Jose Siri, a former Astro, project as strikeout rates worth attacking. So modest expectations for Garcia, but at 8,300, it kind of offsets the price anyway, and we know that he has some 20 to 30 point upside. So I think he's going to make the back end of the pitching player pool just because of this what feels like reduced price, positive park. And I know the Rays don't strike out a lot, but they also don't hit for a ton of power. Isaac Paredes, Christian Bethancourt, and Jonathan Aranda have elevated ISO rates, so it's kind of Can we meet in the middle? And I think we can. So let's pull him up into the player pool, and let's put Garcia as a tier 3. And I feel like Rasmussen's kind of working his way into always being in the pitching player pool for me as well. Really putting together a stretch of strong games. 3.42 expected ERA, 107 whip, 22% K rate, and a 12% swing and strike rate. So all those numbers will hunt, but the Astros, not a big K team, and unlike the Rays, a big power team. So less enthusiastic about his ceiling in this game, but because it still exists, the field might also be more pessimistic on him. And hey, good pitcher, good park. I think there's a range of outcomes for him to do well as well. So we're going to put him and Rasmussen in the threes. We're always going to stack the Astros, always. The Rays stack's probably not going to make my onslaught list here. We might get into a couple of sub stacks, and that's it for that one. So let's move on to the Marlins. If I had to pick a specific hitter or two, against Rasmussen, the power has been more preeminent to righties than lefties. A 0.33 home run per nine to lefties, 1.14 to righties. 53% ground ball rate to lefties, 66% ground ball rate to righties. The hard contact, 49% ground ball to lefties. The hard contact's been really, really low, but it looks like more prevalent against righties. And he also has a little bit of a ground ball decrease against righties. So if I had to, maybe a guy like Bregman, not getting massive power grades all the way around. So I can't imagine anyone in this game is going to be a high sought-after target for me, but I always have to stack the Astros. Always. All right, another 640 game, also in the state of Florida. We're going to do Cubbies against the Marlins. Boy, is this a game. Wade Miley against Chris Morel. No, Wade Miley on the bump, not against Chris Morel. My brain. All right, Marlins against lefty. Their lineup is confirmed: Birdie, Charles LeBlanc, Brian Anderson. Encarnacion, right? Y'all, and then Edward Cabrera. Certainly might have some interest in Cabrera. Cabrera at 409 expected ERA is overperforming it a little bit, but a 25.8% K percentage, 13% swinging strike rate. Cabrera is certainly somebody coming up through the minors. His strikeout prowess was very, very notorious, and I think it's encouraging because we see some pitchers make that move from the minors to the majors, and they don't always bring the strikeout stuff with them right away. So far, so good for Cabrera. 54 Ks, 38 innings in the minors, 0.98 whip. So I even believe in progression to that 4+ expected ERA, and I definitely believe in the strikeout potential of the Chicago Cubs. So really, really solid spot in my opinion for Cabrera at 7,500. Might have to double check, potential pitch counts and stuff like that. But just raw matchup wise, swinging strike rate and strikeout potential, this is a good spot. 90+ pitches really in every start in the last month for him. So I have interest in Cabrera. We got to stay away from these walks, 3 walks, 2 walks, 3 walks, wasting pitches. Has a 16% walk rate to righties so far. There's going to be plenty of righties in this lineup, so it doesn't come without risk. But I think that 7,500 kind of makes that risk a little bit more worth it in my estimation, because I can live with the 14s and 16s on a 7.5K price point, especially knowing that there's some room for upside here. So Cabrera is going to be in the pool. I think he has a chance for me to lean on him a little bit more and maybe get into that SP2 category. Doesn't really have a lot to target from the left side of the plate. We'll see McKinstry and Ian Happ, but I guess we should look at his splits in the minors. Looks like so far he has a little bit of a power problem to righties. In the minors, that's from this year. Can we just pull up? What's up, boy from Cali? Hope you're doing all right. Dude, I didn't grab a drink. That's what I should have did. Yeah, it's like he got to the majors and then all of a sudden started giving up bombs. And that wasn't really an every game thing for him. So we might expect regression on a 2 home run per night allowed to righties. And I guess it's the 36% hard contact rate. That's not like high, but it's not low either. So mixed with a high walk rate, meaning you're getting behind in counts a little bit more. Hitters can narrow down a couple pitches. I can understand why the home run per nine is what it is right here. And there is some ISO to be worried about from the Cubs here. So do we stack Cubs? I'm on the fence with that. It's just not a fun team to stack. They don't hit for a great average, but there's a little bit of power. But I definitely am interested in a Cabrera play right now. And then Wade Miley, 3.25 expected ERA. The ERA is there. The Sierra's not on his side, 4.23, 20% K rate. The barrel rate is unbelievably low, 2.5%. So he has a chance to eat some innings at 6,600. Never really a fun click because of his lack of strikeouts, and doesn't have blow by you stuff. But the Marlins, 68 WRC plus against lefties, 28% K rate. There is not one guy in this lineup with a 200 ISO against lefties. You might make a case for Grosson's as he continues to evolve as a big leaguer, but really just Nick Fortes has the highest ISO on the team against lefties since the beginning of last year at 185. So there's a case for Miley to be involved in a player pool tonight if pitching ends up being super shallow. 16, 14, 31, part of his range of outcomes in his last 5 games. So, man, it's not fun to play Wade Miley, but you might be able to justify it today. I don't want to add every pitcher to the list, but he's really cheap on DK, and it would only be a DraftKings play for me. Let's move on to the Orioles game. Get that game added. Told you we're going to try to do this as fast as possible, because there's a lot of work tonight. Holly Bias. I need to DoorDash a group of drinks. I killed Badu in the 9-hole. Hey. For third game in a row, every lineup confirmed. And the Orioles continue to be one of my favorite teams to stack. And I feel like that's not going to change for years to come. Orioles have a 5.1 run total, Tigers 3.5. Tyler Wells on the bump for the Orioles, 6,100, 3.79 expected ERA, 18% K rate. So I think at that price point, if I was going to get down there, Wade Miley checks off more boxes. The Tigers suck. 71 WRC plus against righties, and tons of strikeout potential in this lineup to maybe compensate for that 18% K rate. Because I will say 11% strikeout, swing and strike rate. 11% swing and strike rate usually correlates with a higher overall K percentage. So maybe that's worth looking at, and maybe we project progression in that category. I'll look at his last few games. But when we've seen a lot of average righties really have monster games against the Tigers, so I guess I wouldn't get completely off the bus. 16%, 15%, 10% swing and strike rate the last 3 games, including a game against the Blue Jays. That's encouraging. Overall in the season, a 62% first pitch strike rate. In the last couple of games, that's been all over the road. 270s and 240s. Like to see that closer to 70, obviously. But there certainly has been some swing and strike and swing and miss stuff in his game here. So is that correlating with a different pitch mix? Looks like he didn't touch the slider the last 2 games. Sometimes he'll use it, or sometimes it at least registers as a slider. Curveball uses. That seems pretty par for the course. All right. And then batted ball data, kind of all over the road as well for Tyler Wells, but there are some games where he's holding a 3-ish or less. So I guess you could make the case for Tyler Wells at 6,100 if you really wanted to. I really don't want to play every pitcher and have such a diverse portfolio, but man, I'm seeing positives in a lot of these pitchers so far. Wells, I guess the 50. I guess the potential pitch cap here is not what you want. Wells worked his pitch count up to 50 after tossing 30. All right, so we can back up on that then. If he's only shuts out for like 65, 70, we don't need it. And then Tyler Alexander, no thank you. Orioles offense, yes. This stack just makes itself. I know Rushman's lefty splits hasn't really been encouraging so far, results-wise in the majors, but I think he's going to be such a great dual threat no matter what. And then, of course, just a great opportunity batting second in the middle of a lot of talent here. So through and through, I'm in on the Orioles stack. We'll add him to the Astros. I will have more Orioles stacks than Astros stacks, but right now we're just plucking teams that we know we can onslaught stack, and I can absolutely make 5-man Orioles stacks and feel good with it. At the bottom of the lineup, I always say don't forget about Mateo. I know his overall metrics might not be that impressive, but he could swag or snag a bag and kind of wrap around, get in front of some of these good RBI guys. So if he gets you a hit and a couple stolen bases, I'm in for that. Bomb Detector likes Ryan Mountcastle, Anthony Santander as the two highest rated guys in this game for homers. So we'll keep an eye on them to see if they end up being at the top of the list later. What up, Travis? Hope everybody out there is doing good. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Cluttered airwaves right now. I don't know. I thought about not doing a stream today, just because of how much is happening tonight. But I got to do the research anyway, so whatever. Why not? All right, first team that I don't have a confirmed lineup for yet. The Nationals. Did you guys do all right in football yesterday? We had a lot of happiness in the RunDFS.com Discord. Tua really brought us to some glory. And then I took the showdown off last night. I just got a little tied up. And I was enjoying the new, or not, I don't know, enjoying. I was playing the new Fortnite season. But tonight I'm definitely going in on the two showdowns, and I'll play the full 2-game slate. So at first I thought it doesn't make sense from a logistical standpoint on NFL's behalf that to literally be competing with yourself in prime time. But it might make for fun for us on DFS and have like a turbo sweat. So yeah, I'm gonna jump in on that. Braves lineup is confirmed. Unfortunately, Ozzie Albies fractured his wrist again. Not gonna say again, but got injured again. The Braves are minus 360 favorites. Corey Abbott on the bump for the Nats. Braves have a 5.7 run total, so it goes without saying they are going to be one of the more sought after stacks on the entire slate. So we have to add them to the stack list. And then we'll have to wrestle with exposure levels. They're just in a massive spot against Corey Abbott. Abbott's expected ERA 3.73, better than really every other metric, but every other metric is so bad, including a near 12% barrel rate on 35 innings, a 1.31 WHIP, a 4.93 SIERA. And we could split that to badness against either side of the plate. 2.45 homer per 9 to lefty so far this season, 3.5 last season. Ironic that he has such a low hard contact rate with these numbers, but the fly ball rate's insane. 73% fly ball rate to lefties, 54% to righties. So we just kind of play the numbers there. Got to stack the Braves, not really overthink it. And then we tap into a bullpen that has been above league average and allowing homers. So good spot for the Braves through and through. Kyle Wright, 8.8K on DK, 10.1 on Fanduel. Nationals lineup today. some strikeouts, or at least in this projected lineup, some strikeouts. Lane Thomas, Meneses, and Luke Voit all have elevated K rates against righties, and Kyle Wright is holding on to almost a 24% K rate. Pitching against righties a little bit better, 301 xFIP, 3.69 xFIP to lefties, but I get it. There's half of this lineup that doesn't strike out that much, and Kyle Wright, at least on the Fanduel slate, it's going to be up there with some more upper echelon names. I think the DK suppressed price makes him a little bit more alluring, and maybe, bumpy last 2 games also make you feel a little bit scared. But 27, 34 fantasy points in the range of outcomes, so has to be in the mix for me, but certainly would be below priority levels on some of the upper echelon guys like Corbin Burns and maybe Max. Max is a curious case for me because he did miss half a month, and you wonder what that means for his pitch count. And then at the same time, we know that the Mets are fighting for a division there. So if they can push him, they're paying him to push him and pitch meaningful games. And I don't know. We'll try and make more progress on a pitch count as the hours go by. But 15 days, not a lot, but it's not a little. Kyle Wright, bottom of the player pool for me, but he's in the player pool, the pitching pool. Nat stack against the Braves. I'm probably not into an onslaught stack. Could certainly see a bomb or two in this lineup. We get positive WRC pluses for Voit and Call, and nobody's touching 4 on the bomb detector. On the Braves, however, a lot of guys right at 4. Acuna 3.98, Riley 404, Olsen 414, Michael Harris 412, Rosario 405. So plenty of guys to be excited about in terms of projection. So I like that. What's up, Doug? I do Dynasty League for football. It was my worst day in the year. No. Who did you have? Did you have like Trey Lance or something? That was unfortunate for him. I do season long. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go 500 in season long this weekend. Even though I have so much Lamar Jackson, I ran in. It feels like every week I could be top 3 in scoring, and I always run into like the number 1 scorer, and I hate when that happens. All right, I was gonna scroll forward, but the Nats lineup just got confirmed. So Lane Thomas, Alex Call's batting second. Luis Garcia, and I gotta fix that. Joey Meneses batting cleanup. Luke Voit batting 5th. Ildemaro Vargas batting 6th. So a little bit different than the lineup that we were working with. Riley Adams, Victor Robles. I gotta get some drinks DoorDashed. All right, so far 4 games, every lineup confirmed. And then we have a few late games here. Let's get Mets at the Brewers, New York week in Milwaukee. Tomas. Has anyone heard reports on Max's potential leash here? I mean, a 3.4 run total from the Brewers, knowing what's at stake, kind of makes me think Max isn't going to be super limited. Let's see, anything in the blurb? He did make a rehab start. Okay. 3.2 innings. He apparently felt good out, so it wasn't confirmed. All right, so you got a rehab start in there. 3.2 innings, not really saying much, but it's not saying nothing. So it's not like he hasn't thrown since the last. So I guess it's fair to expect 1.5 or right below a normal workload. And Max he ain't the type you go out there and get. You know? So let's put Max and Corbin both as tier 2s here. Not expecting much offensively. If we get enough ownership on Max and Corbin, might get into like 2 to 4% of the opposing team stacks. But interesting with the Brewers rollout. I guess yesterday Brewers got so bopped that they didn't have to lean on the Devin Williams guys like that. So they should have their good guys ready. Brewers. Yeah, yesterday they didn't have to use Boxberger. Devin Williams was off yesterday after pitching 2 days in a row. So their more talented arms could be available if needed to back up and bridge Corbin. And then what's available for the Mets? Edwin Diaz is fresh. Claudio. Okay. I'm just going to list. I think the pitching portfolio is going to be pretty diverse tonight for me. But we'll see if we get some coagulated ownership on these top guys. Obviously, with Burns, there's less questions in terms of being stretched out. Just a little bit more fear on the matchup. But there's a little different Mets lineup, right? Francisco Mejia batting. Oh, first I put Mejia. Francisco Lindor batting second. McNeil, Alonso, Vogie. A little revenge in there. Cool. But it's not like your normal. It's a little different than normal, right? No Starling Marte, still injured, so it's maybe a little bit more attackable with a guy like Burns. But Burns, I'll pitch against any team on the planet. 31% K rate. So I guess if I had to split hairs right now, I'd probably rank Burns above Max just based on knowing more about his pitch count than Max's. 100, 110, 102, 107 last 4 games. His results haven't been pristine, but we don't really. I can't play results oriented. I just got to use the metrics, and the metrics are so on his side. 3.1 expected ERA, 31% K rate, sub 1 WHIP. So I probably rank Burns above Max in a 1v1 just because of the safer pitch count pre-flop. Matchup's kind of a wash for me. Mets do project better in WRC plus against righties, and the Brewers are above average in WRC plus against righties. But just strikeout wise, these are two of the best pitchers on the planet, and I go with the one that I know has probably a deeper pitch count right now. That makes sense. Yeah. 90 pitches. Yeah, 90 pitches is probably there. But if it is one of the Max is Max, right? If he's out there thumbing. We've seen him turn skippers around. All right, Coors Field on the slate. We do have half of this game confirmed. But even on like the same pitch count, it's not like Max would be above Burns like dramatically, right? It's fair to be in favor of Max just because of a little bit I don't know, WRC plus or whatever your favorite metric to pick on a team is. I usually just go straight up strikeout stuff. But even if it was the same pitch projection, it's not like Max would be blowing by Burns for me. I don't even know that he would be in front of Burns for me if they were the same today. So at worst, it's a lateral. Chad Koo. All right, Rockies lineup is confirmed. This is Coors Field, 86 degrees out there. We got a 5.8 run total for the Giants, 5.4 for the Rockies. Giants are so frustrating day to day because of how much they platoon their lineup. They do get a righty to start this show. Whatever the confirmed lineup is, we just got to let the projections roll. Much like the last time when they were in cores, we didn't really get prices that move us away. Jock Peterson, I guess, 5,400 on DK, but that's it. Same with the Rockies. I guess to a bigger extent, though, we at least get a couple of players over there at 5K, CJ Cron and Charlie Blackmon. And Ryan McMahon's close enough, but it's not like there's any price points in this game that get you off of it specifically. So, Bomb Detector likes Lamont Wade, Mike Yastrzemski, Jock Peterson, and that's about it from this game. But it is course filled, so because it's cores, we have to stack cores. Giants, Rockies. Simple as that. I guess we can. Let's just get into the main. After the stream in about 45 minutes, probably a little bit sooner, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord because I have a whole lot of work to do tonight with the baseball slate, getting the RunDFS.com spreadsheet tightened up. And then we've also launched projections for both games tonight in the NFL spreadsheet. I know a lot of people that follow me for baseball may not know that we cover NFL, but we do. I just have really struggled to find time to do more NFL content on this channel, but I'm working on it. I promise. We do an NBA to a different level, and I don't want to create a false expectation when NBA gets here, so we're trying. But if you didn't know, we do NFL, and I do projections, player pools, and stuff like that, and all that is behind the paywall at RunDFS.com. So try out a week pass, and then jump into voice chats, man. I'm always in voice chat before locks, just hanging out, really. But we also talk some strategies, talk some slate discussion, matchups discussion, stuff like that. It's a fun time. The D-backs take on the Dodgers in tonight's main event. And the Dodgers are so locked up that I never know what to expect from them, not only in terms of lineup, but in terms of just staying out there. One of the things I've been suspicious of is Dave Roberts can go out there and just play half a game, right, and turn into the Giants all of a sudden. We saw them pull Dustin May a little bit early in that start over the weekend where he didn't allow a hit through 5. And I didn't know if that was like him showing his hand that he doesn't expect to ride these guys too much, because there is really no incentive at all. It's actually incredible what the Dodgers have done. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, because so many division races right now are really tight. The NL West is not one of them, and I don't expect the Dodgers to really fall backwards at all in the National League. If you look at the National League wins, the Dodgers are already at 101. They have a 21-game lead on the division. They've clinched it. So basically, they get to coast, and they're just protecting the number 1 seed, and they have almost a 10-game lead over that. So they don't, other than like records and historical, accolades, there's no incentive for the Dodgers to play and push guys, right? So I worry from a projection standpoint for the Dodgers to play some of these guys 9 innings, right? Like, I'm not saying the whole team's going to get benched after 5 innings, but it does feel like we're going to get some wonky subs throughout the games. And then I definitely don't expect pitchers to get pushed deep. And we saw that with Dustin May, and Clayton Kershaw's another one. It's like, man, is this a guy that is going to go super deep here or not? On the 13th, they hadn't clinched the division yet, but they were getting there. But Kershaw, only 82 pitches. He just happened to be super efficient with it and go 7 innings and make a lot of ground outs, 10-7 ground ball to fly ball ratio. So I don't know the correct way to quantify that numerically in like a projection system, but it is just like a humanistic thought that I have. And I'll probably wrestle with that going forward, because this slate's so short. Like, I'm not going to overthink it until it actually happens. But I just wanted to share, that thought. So I do like Kershaw today. Not as much as Burns and Scherzer, because his matchup doesn't look like it's going to be much, greater of a strikeout matchup, and D-backs are a little bit more scrappy against lefties anyway, or at least they can be if they put out the right lineup. So I'll have Kershaw. I'm going to put them all at tier 2 for now. I think what I'm going to do is put Burns at 1, and then we'll go Kershaw max at tier 2. Both elite upside pitchers with some question marks for me personally on pitch counts. And then I like this tier 4 bubble. I think this is where we're going to end up. Dodgers will stack them, but we'll keep that pessimism afloat. We'll keep an eye on it, I guess. I don't know if it makes sense. If it makes sense, it makes sense. But that's the slate. Waiting on some more lineups to come out and get confirmed. We'll sort the bomb detector here, so what we're working with. And Lamont Wade, Matt Olson, Michael Harris, Mountcastle, Jock Peterson, Eddie Rosario, Yastrzemski, Santander, Riley, and Jonathan Aranda. A very unique cast of names with the 4+ rating and the bomb detector. And that's what we're working with. So I'm going to get out of here. I got to do some lineup construction for these slates. But I appreciate anyone who made part of my day be part of their day, and get some drinks going. And the work is just getting started. So join us at rundfs.com. Get in that Discord. We'll be hanging out and hopefully making some money tonight, man. I'll get caught up on chat though. Hey Gun, do you think it's a good move to play in tonight's NFL 2-game slate? Should be a lot of newbies in there just playing top players. Good chance to. Yeah, I think any showdown or small slate with prize pools are good to target. You could say what you want about the newbies being it, and that's true. But it's also just easier to hit the nuts, right? You can accidentally win a showdown. You can accidentally win a 2-game slate. So just range of outcomes. If you've got enough, I think I'm going to put 20 lineups in each of the showdowns for the 2 games, and then 20 lineups in the 2-game contest, because it's just easier to hit that range of hit that nutty range of outcomes. So I will be there, Brian. I hope to see you in those contests at the top, but below 1 where I'm at. I'm just kidding. Hey, hit that thumbs up on your way out, man. I appreciate you guys. Tell somebody you love them. I love you. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.